I'll call the May 8th, 2025 City Commission meeting to order at 4 p.m. All commissioners are present. Any consideration of minutes?
I considered them.
Thank you. Anybody else?
No changes.
No changes.
Thank you. Citizen comments. We have people in the room. Is there anybody that'd like to comment on anything other than agenda items? Okay. Consent agenda. You saw the mayoral appointments. I would,
Yeah, I'll jump in on the correction of the resolution
Thank you.
2025-001. That was a resolution the city commission adopted creating the RHID district. There was a error in the legal description, so it had to be
okay.
redone. There's a memo from the surveyor stating what the issue was, so this would be the correct legal description.
Very good.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Musil, seconded by Commissioner Cunningham. Any further discussion? Not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Pass 5-0. New business. Public hearing for the establishment of a reinvestment housing incentive district for Tallgrass Second Edition, Phase 4. It is now open.
So good afternoon, Jared Kuckelman, Assistant City Manager. So we will be talking about the ordinance to officially establish the Tallgrass Phase 4 RHID and adopting the development plan and development agreement. Heart of America is the developer behind the Tallgrass Second Edition development. After the success of the first 3 phases, Heart of America is proposing to continue on with Phase 4 of the project, which would involve the creation of approximately 101 new residential lots. Phase 4 would continue with a fairly similar type of housing as the first phases, but would also allow for some more variety in housing types, including with a potential for some multifamily units. And as with the first 3 phases, Heart of America is requesting an RHID to cover the eligible costs. So just as a reminder, the way RHIDs work is that they are established by cities or counties to capture the incremental gains in property taxes within a designated district for up to 25 years. At their expiration, the full valuation of the district goes back to the tax rolls for all jurisdictions. The revenue that comes from the incremental gain in property taxes goes towards reimbursement for certain eligible costs, most particularly the infrastructure like the site prep, streets, and water and sewer pipes. So the image here shows what the RHID district looks like. You can see the existing Tallgrass phases 1 through 3 are to the south, while phase 4 is expanding to the north. So the improvements to the RHID district as outlined in the development plan include any and all infrastructure that is needed to support the development. Then here's the plat for phase 4 to kind of show what the development may end up looking like. Like I said, the plan would be to create approximately 101 lots for development. So some details now about what's contained in the development agreement. The agreement entitles the city to the RHID revenues and also establishes that an escrow account will be created to cover debt service. What will go into the escrow account is the deposit that the developer will put down and any Midwest Energy reimbursements that are received. The developer will be empowered to sell the lots and then entitled to the proceeds from this, while also requiring that building permits be pulled within 12 months of the sale. At the end of 6 years, if the project hasn't generated sufficient increment, the city would have the option to take ownership of all undeveloped parcels and retain any funds that remain in the escrow account. And conversely, if the development were to get built out and generate enough income, a portion of these escrowed funds could be refunded to the developer. So the developer will provide to the city a deposit that is equal to 30% of the projected infrastructure costs. This deposit is being set by the development agreement at $1.8 million. The developer also proposes that the city finance and construct the infrastructure for the development and utilize the RHID revenues and that deposit to offset the costs, including interest. The eligible project costs are estimated to be approximately $6 million, while the RHID is estimated to generate about $6.867 million of revenue over 25 years. And once again, if the development were to not generate enough increment to cover the costs after 6 years, the city would have the option to take ownership of all undeveloped lots. So here's the calendar to show where we are in the process. We're having the public hearing right now to allow for public comments, after which there will be the vote on approval of the ordinance that officially establishes the RHID and adopting the development plan and development agreement. And that then kicks off the 30-day veto period, which means the RHID could officially take effect on June 9th. So these are the options for you today. We'll start off here for public comment.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment about this process, about the project? If not, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing for the establishment of a reinvestment housing incentive district for Tallgrass Phase 4.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Cunningham, seconded by Commissioner Barrick. Any further discussion? Not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. Now we're ready to establish that ordinance. Let's go.
This is the action requested for adopting the ordinance.
I move to adopt ordinance number 4070 to establish a reinvestment housing incentive district, adopt a development plan, and approve the development agreement.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Reuter, seconded by Commissioner Musil. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. Next item is property abatement for 3404 Vine Street. Approve a resolution number 2025-004 allowing for the abatement and possible demolition of the structure located at the property at 3404 Vine.
Good
Jesse?
afternoon, Jesse Rohr, Director of Public Works. So, yeah, I do want to discuss getting your consideration on the property abatement for the Roadway Inn, which is located at 3404 Vine Street. The last several months, as we've been dealing with this property by the city and there was some state fire marshal involvement as well. After all that has taken place, the property was deemed to be a dangerous structure per the adopted property maintenance code. Up to this point, all the proper notification has been given to the owners of the property. That is required by that adopted code. There were several inspections. I mentioned the state fire marshal inspections. Office that was here doing inspections last fall, along with the city Hayes planning and development inspection staff, as well as the local fire department as well. And so the motel itself was closed last fall, and the formal abatement process was started in October. To date, there's been little to no known action on the property. I know you did hear from the owner's representative last week here at the work session, and aside from that, there's been no more recent communication with the owner or the owner's rep. So here's 2 or 3 slides with some pictures on it, and the pictures don't really do it a lot of justice, but you can see structural issues are hard to see in the pictures, but on the picture on the far left, you can see some propping of the balcony. There are some balcony issues which are considered structural. There's also interior components within the rooms that were cited by the State Fire Marshal's Office and local fire department, electrical issues, HVAC issues, water leak issues, along with the various structural issues on the property. Just one more picture here again. Hard to see some of the actual violations in these particular pictures, but your options, should you move the resolution forward, would be to, of course, you could approve the resolution, which would allow, but not mandate the city to take action 10 days after the signing of the resolution. You could provide other direction as well. The action requested would be to approve the resolution in the event there's not action taken by the owner within an amount of time, then the city could move in and abate the property if required.
I move so we can get to
I
discussion.
move to approve resolution number 2025-004, allowing for the abatement and demolition of the vacant structures located on the property at 3404 Vine Street, 10 days after the approval date.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Cunningham, seconded by Commissioner Reuter. Further discussion. I want to remind everybody of the owner's rep that came last week. I think we made it clear then, and I want to make it clear now, we're not out there to cause any kind of hardship if they're in the middle of a possible sale. There's a letter of intent, I believe, she shared at that point. I don't think there's a contract, to the best of my knowledge, but a letter of intent is the first step towards that, and I think it looks pretty positive. And I think staff agreed, you kind of move slow, let this thing, we won't jump into anything hoping that it's all going to solve itself in the next short bit of time.
Right, so as mentioned last week, we can take action after 10 days, but it's not our intent to take action after 10 days. This would be a significant abatement, so we probably wouldn't be in a position to take action right after 10 days anyway. We would have to hire somebody to tear down that facility, and that's a big undertaking. So my intent is we'll reach out to the owner's rep. We'll ask for a plan of action. We'll make sure they give us regular updates. We'll confirm those updates with Gro Hayes, who is part of the retail transaction discussion, to make sure there's progress being made. And as long as there's progress being made, we'll let it happen, and hopefully the market will take care of itself.
And that's the hope, is that the market would take care of itself. Do we have any other questions, commissioners?
No, I guess my question, we've had this with other entities where, but they have to prove to you something's going on. We're not just going to give them 20 days. It says 10 days.
There has to be progress, and I understand when it comes to retail transactions, there can be some time, and that's why I'd probably lean on Doug and David to make sure I'm aware that there's progress being made, even behind the scenes, and the appearance outwardly is that there's really not anything happening.
My question is, we've had this with other places, and we kind of follow a guideline, and I just don't want to give any special privileges to somebody else that we wouldn't to another entity in town. So.
No, and we wouldn't. And the analog to this was the old Ambassador
Right.
facility, and the city commission passed a similar resolution. And shortly afterwards, the contractor put a demolition contract, or the owner put a demolition contractor under contract, and it was a couple months before they got started, actually, I think. So, but we knew there was somebody under contract, and then work began. So yeah, we're not going to be unreasonable here, but we're also not going to let them string it on forever.
And I would look to Gro Hayes to keep us advised. If something falls apart, then we move quicker. If the process is still moving forward but slow, then we continue to slow down.
I think it's just really a matter of making sure that there is progress, because I mean, not even businesses, but one time I had a house and it took forever before any action was taken, and it took us actually saying we're ready to hire somebody to do it before
Right.
action was taken. So
I think we'll stay focused.
just making sure that there's still focus, because the best thing would be have it be sold and renovated. That would be great.
Absolutely.
So that's what we want to happen, but we also want to make sure they're focused and not
Things happen.
waiting for 3 years for nothing to happen.
Very good. Okay, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. Stormwater Equipment Building award a bid. Jesse.
All right, second item from me, I want to ask for your consideration of award a bid for a stormwater equipment building. So this particular building would go at the Public Works facility. The existing buildings on site just don't have the capacity to house all the equipment. Hasn't been a lot of years that we've had a stormwater division, and with that comes new equipment and personnel, and beyond that, just the Public Works site itself has grown and the work that they do. So there's various equipment. I know it came to you last year for award a bid for new trucks. A couple of those trucks aren't in an enclosed building right now, and we'd like to keep those inside to keep them out of the elements and hopefully get them to last as long as possible and do everything we can. So here's a general project location there. The blue square is kind of the east side of the Public Works yard, and that would be the approximate building location for the building itself. And here's just an approximate building rendering. It'll have 14 by 14 doors, 4 overhead doors, 1 walk-in door. There will be no plumbing in there at this time, but it will have heat. It's very important for these trucks and different equipment to be heated throughout the winter months when we're removing snow and doing other winter activities. Make sure they're able to start when needed and aren't froze up. So there were 4 qualified bids received. as you can see on the screen here, with the low bid coming from Quinner Manufacturing, or QMC Incorporated, out of Quinner, Kansas. Their low bid came in at $292,650. As far as the budget goes, there was $300,000 budgeted in the 2025 budget for this building, and so we just came in under the budget, which we were very pleased with. So your options today would be to award the bid to QMC as recommended, or provide staff other direction. Here's the action request.
I move to award the bid to QMC Inc. and authorize the expenditure of $292,650 of stormwater reserve funds to cover the cost of construction of the Stormwater Division Equipment Building.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Barrick, seconded by Commissioner Cunningham. Discussion?
Jesse, you say there's no plumbing in it, correct?
Correct. When we started looking at it, there was going to be some sewer in there and some water. The sewer was problematic because of where we would have tie-in. So the only thing that'll be in there, semi-plumbing related, is a trench drain
That's,
going down the center, and it'll go to an outside holding tank that'll be pumped occasionally. So it won't be tied directly into sanitary sewer. So that was part of the bid.
but as the snow melts from a truck inside, there'll be a drain.
Right, exactly.
Jesse, I appreciate you, being forward-thinking and looking at protecting those super expensive trucks we have to buy. And with the prices always increasing, taking care of them as long as we can is a priority. So thank you for looking at that.
Thanks.
Curiosity question, will there be concrete leading into that structure?
Yes, there will be a concrete apron on the outside of the building. The concrete apron itself will be done by city staff when the building's up. Everything else, the concrete floor included, is part of the bid package that was done, and that'll be done by QMC. So
That'll ensure that even when we have 80-mile-an-hour winds, it's going to stay
it's going to stay.
in place.
You bet.
Write that down. Jesse said. Good? There's no other discussion. There's been moved and seconded. I'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we have commission comments, city manager would like to talk a little bit about fireworks.
Yeah, so fireworks season is fast approaching, and part of the community loves that idea, and part of the community hates that idea. So, in discussions with you individually, there was a desire to try to ascertain the attitudes of the public when it came to fireworks. I mean, we know fireworks can be polarizing, but is it 10% love them and 10% hate them and 80% are indifferent, or is it 50-50? We don't know. So James Bell was able to create a poll that we are going to put up on our website tomorrow to try to gauge the public's opinion on fireworks. So James will be broadcasting that tomorrow to the different press outlets, and we'll make sure that it's recirculated on various forms of media so people are aware of it, and we'll keep it open for a few weeks and try to gauge people's opinion and then report back to you before the 4th, just so you get an idea, because we know you hear from constituents, but usually again it's very polarizing one way, and it's sometimes hard to determine just how much of a group those constituents represent. If a lot of people are indifferent but a few people are very passionate, it might show a disproportionate representation. So we'll report back to you after it's up, but once it's up, feel free to let people know that they can go online
And we're
fill it out.
gonna put that out, broadcast broadly, that poll exists, that it's on the website.
Yep.
I think it's a great idea. As you say, Toby, we hear it from 5 yelling this side, 5 yelling this side, and I'm not sure what this other 90 are doing in here when you're looking at 100 people. One of the discussions, and I think it'll be part of the poll, if I'm not wrong, will be specific to aerial.
Yes.
Okay, and I think that's probably what's important. I know that was important to Commissioner Barry. So we'll look forward to seeing that, and that'll be up when, you think?
James he's got it ready to go. I'll send it out tomorrow.
Very good. Any questions, Toby, about that? Okay, commissioners' comments. Commissioner Musil?
And Mayor, you may be talking about this, so I hope I don't steal your thunder, but I just wanted to
I have
commend.
no thunder.
Okay, good. I want to commend Dallas and Deja Hazelhorse for their science festival they had this weekend. I was not able to attend, but I've talked to many people who went down there, and how many people were downtown Sunday from the library all the way down to their business, and it's just amazing how he's restored that building and what it's turned into, what he's doing for the community. So I just kudos to them, and you know, I know he's got some things in the future he wants to bring downtown, so I think that was a pretty cool idea, so.
Good.
All I got.
Mr. Berry?
Yeah, the STEM science thing, that was pretty cool. They just need to have more face painters down there.
It was the first year, give him a break.
And there were so many people there that, yeah, it was packed up for the whole time. And I know some of the Sternberg animals were like, all right, I've had enough of the today. But yeah, no, it went really well. And I thought that was I mean, you never know what to expect with something like that.
Yeah.
It
A
was really
beautiful
well
day.
received. That's all I got.
That's all you got? Okay. Well, just kind of leading from that, I had the privilege to hear from some staff and students who attended the Historical Society's Pioneer Days yesterday. So just want to give a shout out to them that they did an amazing job. The kids were fascinated to get to make their own butter. So they did a fabulous job, and I've heard excitement of students who are going to visit the Sternberg coming up in the near future. So it's that time of year, lots of field trips, and we have amazing things in town for the students and the staff and community members to take advantage of too. But it's really nice that our students can get out and do things locally and not have to travel out of town. So, and my last thing is they are playing right now, but the middle school boys are the most winning record in middle school soccer currently for HMS. So they're playing right now, and hopefully if they win, they get to play Saturday, and that will be the first time they've ever made it to the next round. So
Fantastic.
Huge.
yeah,
feat.
so congratulations to them and Coach
Absolutely.
Kelly.
Absolutely. Mr. Reuter?
Got a few things. One of them, I'd like to congratulate the Hayes High musical group. So they recently were nominated for a few different awards for the Jester Awards, which take place in Wichita. They roll out the red carpet for them and stuff like that, and it's a huge statewide award. So they compete against Kansas City and Wichita and Topeka and basically everybody. And they took home Best Production in the state for their last musical, which was it was a very good one. They did a very good job.
Hadestown.
Yes, Hadestown. So that was a really cool opportunity to see that. So that was neat. Another thing that's coming up that'd be really cool is on May 24th is the Picnic in the Park. It's a community event. It's free to join. Basically, everybody come out to the Arc Park. There's going to be live music, food trucks, and basically bring your lawn chair, have fun, let the kids play, and just enjoy the Memorial Weekend out there with us. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Are you singing at it?
No, absolutely not. I want people to be there. Last thing I had was I had the opportunity to go to Roosevelt this week and do some mock interviews with the fifth graders for Ameritown. There are some very bright kids there. Some of them I'd be like, if you were old enough, I'd probably hire you now. They were very intelligent. I was blown away by some of those interviews. They're good kids, and I'm excited to see how the Ameritown turns out for them as well. So that's all I have.
That was all my thunder. But I will add numbers to some of that.
Sorry.
The sponsorships, I wish I had all the list of the sponsors of the STEM Harvest. That was a huge deal. Preliminary number says there were 1,100 to 1,200 people downtown during that period of time, and that's just huge for
That's
a first
crazy.
event. So it'll just get bigger and bigger as it goes. That event usually happens in Manhattan, if I'm not mistaken, and out here for the first time. So hopefully it'll stay here. Also, on your third graders, I was at the Historical Society before I came to the meeting today visiting with them, and they had 154 third graders. She said, "You've never seen the like." But she said they were great, and it was a great experience for everybody. And I don't think I'm mistaken. I'm surprised you didn't say anything. TMP softball.
Yeah,
Those girls are killing it.
they are.
They are. I can't. I think they're 23-3 or 24.
They only lost one game, I think.
Only one.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The boys and girls at TMP
Yeah.
are
Oh,
both
yeah, that's
doing
right.
amazing.
We've got a lot to be proud of with our students and also the activities in our town. And I do specifically want to thank Dallas Hazel, Horse, and Dasha for getting this thing started. What they've done with STEM Harvest and Treetop Security is really outstanding. And it shows by how many people jump in to sponsor the events with them when they start stuff like this. So, any executive session? We're adjourned.